The massive observation deck of the Galactic Confederation's flagship was silent except for the soft hum of equipment. Supreme Commander Tak stood with his forearms clasped behind his back, all four eyes fixed on the enormous tactical display. The blue hologram showed their 17-vessel diplomatic fleet arranged in the traditional greeting formation. A single red dot approached from the edge of the system. "Just one ship," Admiral Jones said, breaking the silence. He tapped a long finger against the display, enlarging the incoming vessel. The humans sent just one ship to greet the combined diplomatic force of 17 species. Tech's skin rippled with concern. "Perhaps they misunderstood our invitation. Or perhaps they're fools," Jones replied. His voice carried the distinctive metallic undertones of the Variok species. Even for a ceremonial meeting, prudence dictates a showing of proper strength. The sensor officer, a young technician named Mina, suddenly straightened in her chair. Her fingers flew across the control panel as she rechecked her readings. "Commander," she called, "I'm getting unusual readings from the human vessel." Tak moved to her station. "Explain." "Sir, according to these measurements," she paused, adjusting her instruments, "the ship is much larger than our initial estimates suggested." "How much larger?" asked June, joining them. "At least 10 times what we expected for a diplomatic vessel," Mina replied. "And the energy signature is like nothing in our database." Tak frowned. Humans were newcomers to the galactic stage. Until recently, the Confederation had classified Earth as a pre-spaceflight civilization. Their sudden emergence with advanced technology had prompted this formal meeting. "Could their propulsion system be causing false readings?" he asked. "I don't believe so, sir. I've compensated for all known interference patterns." The communications console chimed. "Incoming transmission from the human vessel," announced the communications officer. They identify themselves as Earth Ship Prometheus and request docking coordinates. "Put them through," ordered Tak. The main screen flickered to life, showing a human in a simple blue uniform. The being had the typical appearance of their species, hairless except for the top of the head, only 2 eyes, and skin in varying shades of brown. "Greetings, Confederation vessels. This is Captain Han of the Earth Ship Prometheus. We come in peace and friendship." Tak stepped forward. "Captain Han, this is Supreme Commander Tak of the Galactic Confederation. We welcome you. Your coordinates for approach are being transmitted." The human nodded. "Thank you, Commander. We look forward to this historic meeting." As the transmission ended, Admiral June leaned close to Tak. "They call that ship Prometheus. In human mythology, Prometheus was a being who stole fire from the gods and gave it to mortals." "An interesting choice of name," Tak replied. "Sir," Mina interrupted, "the human vessel has changed course. It's moving to the designated coordinates." But her voice trailed off as she studied her readings. "What is it?" Tak demanded. "It's just..." She looked up, confusion evident in her features. "The ship is moving with far greater precision than something of its size should be capable of." On the observation deck's massive viewport, the distant human ship became visible as it emerged from behind the system's gas giant. What had appeared as a small dot on sensors revealed itself to be enormous. "Stars above," whispered June. "It's the size of a small moon." The entire command center fell silent as they took in the true scale of the approaching vessel. The Prometheus dwarfed the Confederation's largest battlecruiser by several orders of magnitude. Its hull gleamed with a material unknown to their scientists, and subtle patterns of light played across its surface. "Tactical analysis," Tak ordered, breaking the stunned silence. The tactical officer cleared his throat. "Sir, we're detecting multiple energy signatures throughout the vessel, but no obvious weapons arrays. There appear to be agricultural sections, and what might be manufacturing facilities." "That's not a ship," Jones said quietly. "It's a mobile space station, perhaps even a colony vessel." Tak nodded slowly. "Now we understand why they sent just one ship." As Prometheus drew closer, its massive form blocking out the distant stars. Tak felt a chill run through his body. The humans had not sent a diplomatic vessel. They had sent something else entirely, something that suggested capabilities far beyond what the Confederation had believed possible for such a young species. "Prepare the reception committee," he ordered, "and alert all security personnel. Whatever happens next, I suspect our understanding of humanity is about to change dramatically." The Confederation delegation stepped through the airlock into the human vessel Prometheus. Delegation leader Sung, a tall, thin being with iridescent skin, led the group of 7 representatives from different species. They had expected a standard reception area. What they found left them speechless. They stood at the edge of what appeared to be a forest. Tall trees with broad leaves stretched upward toward a ceiling hundreds of meters overhead. The ceiling itself projected a convincing simulation of Earth's blue sky, complete with drifting clouds and artificial sunlight. A small stream bubbled nearby, winding through the landscape. "Welcome aboard Prometheus," said Captain Hana, stepping forward from a group of waiting humans. She was of average height for her species, with short black hair and a simple blue uniform bearing minimal insignia. She extended her hand in the human greeting gesture. Sung hesitated before reaching out to complete the ritual touch. His translator had prepared him for human customs, but nothing had prepared him for the ship itself. "This is unexpected," Sung managed to say, his translator converting his musical tones into human speech. "Please follow me," Captain Hana said with a smile. "This is just one of 12 biosphere sections. We designed Prometheus to be fully self-sufficient." The delegation followed her along a stone path that ran beside the stream. Small creatures moved among the undergrowth, and birds, actual living birds, flew between the trees. "How many crew members serve on this vessel?" asked Sung. "Currently 8,742, replied Hana, "though we have capacity for 15,000. Jin, Sung's aide, leaned close to whisper in their native language. "Impossible. A vessel this size would require millions of support staff to maintain by our standards." Hana seemed to catch the meaning despite not understanding the words. "Perhaps by your engineering standards. We've automated most systems." They passed through a grove of fruit-bearing trees where humans in simple clothing harvested produce. Some nodded respectfully at the passing delegation. "You grow your food aboard?" asked Cole, the Variox representative. "Much of it," Hana confirmed. "Prometheus was designed to sustain human life for multiple generations if necessary. We never wanted to be dependent on external supply lines." As they continued walking, the forest gave way to a massive open space. Sung stopped abruptly, causing several delegates behind him to bump into each other. Before them stretched a manufacturing sector the size of a small city. Robotic systems assembled complex machinery. Humans supervised from control stations, but the work itself was handled by automated systems. "This section produces replacement parts for ship systems," explained Hana. "But we can reconfigure it to create almost anything we need, from medical supplies to construction materials." "You bring your industrial base with you," said Sung, beginning to understand. "Exactly," Hana replied. "Prometheus isn't just a ship. It's a self-contained civilization." Their tour continued through living quarters that resembled a pleasant Earth town rather than a spacecraft. They passed educational facilities, medical centers, and recreation areas where off-duty crew members swam in artificial lakes or played sports in large open spaces. "How does this vessel move?" asked Da, the science specialist. "The energy requirements must be enormous." "We use a modified fusion drive for standard propulsion," Hana explained. "But for longer distances, we've developed a space-folding technology that allows us to create temporary shortcuts through space-time." Day opened his mouth, then closed it again. Such technology was theoretically possible, but believed to be centuries away from practical application. The tour ended at an observation lounge where the delegation could see their own ships through a massive viewport. From this perspective, the Confederation vessels, once considered impressive, looked tiny against the backdrop of stars. Why send such a massive ship for first contact? Sung finally asked the question that had been bothering him since they arrived. Captain Hana's expression grew serious. Humanity's history is filled with incidents of misunderstanding and conflict. When we decided to join the galactic community, we wanted to be prepared for any possibility, including war, asked Cole sharply. Including self-sufficiency, Hana corrected. Prometheus can sustain human civilization, regardless of how we are received. We came hoping for friendship, but ready for isolation if necessary. Sung nodded slowly, finally understanding. You sent one ship because one ship was all you needed. We believe in optimism backed by preparation, Hana said simply. As the delegation prepared to return to their vessels, Jin moved close to Sung again. They've shown us no weapons systems. They didn't need to, Sung replied quietly. A civilization that can build this can certainly defend it. The delegates boarded their shuttle with minds full of questions. The humans had not merely sent a ship, they had sent a statement about what humanity was capable of. And the Confederation would need to reconsider everything they thought they knew about their new neighbors. Scientist Da stood before the Confederation Security Council, trying to keep his voice steady. The chamber was filled with representatives from all 17 species, their attention fixed on the holographic display behind him. The whole material defies our conventional analysis, Day explained, pointing to a microscopic image of the Prometheus's outer surface. It appears to be a self-repairing carbon-silicon matrix with properties we cannot fully understand. The image shifted to show the material healing itself after being subjected to a sample test. Small fractures closed within seconds, the molecular structure reorganizing without external intervention. Is it alive? Asked Commander Tak from his seat at the center of the semicircular table. Not exactly, replied Da's colleague Suk, stepping forward. But it responds to damage in ways that mimic biological healing. Our best theory is that it contains billions of microscopic machines programmed to maintain structural integrity. Admiral June leaned forward. And their power systems. Suk tapped her control pad, bringing up new diagrams. Their power generation exceeds our theoretical limits by at least 10 times. They appear to be using a controlled fusion reaction, but with refinements that allow for greater efficiency than we thought possible. And weapons? Commander Tak asked the question everyone had been avoiding. They showed us nothing explicitly military, Dai admitted. But the energy readings we detected suggest defensive capabilities far beyond anything in our combined arsenals. The council chamber filled with murmurs of concern. A representative from the Turtle species raised a hand. Could their ship be primarily a scientific vessel? Perhaps they prioritize research over military might. Before Dai could answer, the chamber doors slid open. An aide rushed in and hurried to Commander Tak's side, whispering urgently in his ear. Tak's 4 eyes widened. Continue your report, Tak ordered Day, his voice tight. Day exchanged a glance with Suk before proceeding. We believe the Prometheus contains manufacturing capabilities that could produce. The doors burst open again. This time, a security officer entered. Commanders, the Prometheus has just neutralized an unauthorized scan from the Variox science vessel. They deployed some kind of energy field that disabled the scanning ship instantly. All systems on the Variox vessel shut down except life support. The chamber erupted in chaos. Representatives jumped to their feet, demanding explanations. Silence, roared Tak, pounding the table. When order returned, he turned to the security officer. Casualties? None, Commander. The Variox crew is unharmed, but their ship is completely dead in space. Nothing works. Admiral June stood slowly. What exactly happened? The security officer activated his wrist display, projecting footage into the center of the chamber. The recording showed a Variox vessel approaching the massive human ship. Suddenly, a barely visible wave of energy pulsed from the Prometheus. When it touched the Variox ship, all lights on the vessel went dark. The humans claim the Variox attempted to penetrate their secure systems with a military-grade scanning array, the officer explained. According to Captain Hana, their automated defenses responded with minimal force. Minimal force, echoed June. They disabled an armed vessel without firing a single conventional weapon. Day cleared his throat. Based on what we've observed, I believe the Prometheus has defensive systems integrated throughout its hull. They don't need weapon ports or traditional armaments. The door opened again, and a human figure entered. The council fell silent as Captain Hana walked calmly to the center of the chamber. "Honorable representatives," she said, her voice carrying easily through the room. "I come to offer explanation and apology for the incident." Commander Tak gestured for her to continue. "The Variox vessel attempted to penetrate our secure systems with scanning technology designed to bypass our privacy protocols," Hana explained. "Our defensive systems responded automatically with a localized electromagnetic pulse. The ship's crew is safe, and we are already assisting with repairs." "You disabled a military vessel without warning," said the Variox representative, his voice shaking with anger. "Your vessel attempted to access restricted information without permission," Hana replied evenly. "In human terms, that is an act of aggression. And yet you claim to come in peace," said Admiral June. Hana turned to him. "Peace does not mean vulnerability, Admiral. We disabled your vessel without causing harm to its crew. We could have responded with much greater force." The implication hung in the air. No one doubted her words. "The Prometheus was designed to protect human interests while minimizing harm to others," Hana continued. "What you witnessed was our most gentle response to an unauthorized intrusion." As she spoke, the display behind her changed to show the Variox vessel. Lights were coming back on as systems reactivated. "The effects are temporary. Full functionality will return within the hour," Hana assured them. "We hope this demonstration helps prevent future misunderstandings." She bowed slightly and left the chamber as quietly as she had entered. In the silence that followed, Commander Tak looked at the scientists. "Continue your report." Day swallowed hard. "As I was saying, we believe the manufacturing capabilities of the Prometheus could produce virtually anything they might need, including, potentially, other ships. The humans sent one ship," Tak said quietly, "because one is all they needed." No one in the chamber disagreed. The diplomatic station hummed with tension. Representatives from all 17 Confederation species had gathered in the Grand Meeting Hall, arranged in their traditional semicircle facing the human delegation. Captain Hana sat calmly at the center of her small team, her posture relaxed but alert. "This aggression will not stand," shouted Representative Quan of the Variox Collective, his voice echoing through the chamber. His purple skin had darkened with emotion, the bioluminescent spots on his face flashing with anger. "The humans crippled our science vessel without warning or provocation. Your science vessel attempted to penetrate our secure systems with a military-grade scanning array," Captain Hana replied, her voice steady and measured. "Our automated defenses responded with minimal force. Your crew suffered no injuries, and your ship has been fully restored to operational status." Commander Tak raised all four of his hands, calling for order. "This incident, while regrettable, appears to have been a misunderstanding." "The human vessel." "Misunderstanding," interrupted Quan. "Their actions were deliberate and hostile. The Variox Collective demands sanctions against the humans and full access to their vessel's defensive technology as compensation." Murmurs spread through the assembly. Admiral June leaned close to Tak. "The Variox are unusually agitated. Something feels wrong about this." Hana's communications officer whispered something in her ear. She nodded slightly before addressing the chamber again. "Representatives of the Confederation, I must inform you that we have detected unusual energy signatures from multiple Variox vessels currently positioning themselves around this station and our ship." The chamber erupted into chaos. Quan rose to his feet, face fully darkened now. "This is absurd. The humans attempt to distract us with false accusations while they... Alarms blared throughout the diplomatic station. The main view screen activated automatically, showing an external view of space, where there had been only stars and the massive form of Prometheus. Now a fleet of Variox warships had appeared, weapons charged and aimed at the human vessel. Variox ships decloaking, called a station officer. 15. No, 20 vessels. They're locking weapons on the Prometheus. Commander Tak whirled to face Quan. What is the meaning of this? Stand down your forces immediately. Quan's expression hardened. The Variox Collective has determined that human technology represents an unacceptable threat to Confederation security. We will secure their vessel and technology, by force if necessary. All eyes turned to Captain Hana, who had not moved from her seat. Her expression showed neither fear nor anger, only a profound resignation. A regrettable decision, she said softly. What happened next occurred so rapidly that many witnesses later gave contradictory accounts. The massive human ship seemed to split open along previously invisible seams. From within its enormous hull, dozens of smaller vessels, each still larger than most Confederation warships, emerged in perfect formation. The Variox fleet opened fire immediately. Their energy weapons struck the Prometheus with enough force to destroy a small moon. The shields flared with blue-white energy, absorbing the attack without visible damage. The human vessels, now fully deployed from their mothership, moved with impossible precision. They did not return fire, but instead positioned themselves in a defensive pattern around the diplomatic station. Captain Hana, Commander Tak said, his voice tight with shock. What is happening? Prometheus is not merely a ship, Hana explained, her eyes never leaving the view screen where the battle unfolded. It is a carrier vessel, designed to transport and deploy an entire fleet if necessary. We came prepared for peace, but ready for war. On the screen, the Variox continued their assault. Their weapons seemed increasingly desperate, firing at both the Prometheus and its deployed vessels. Nothing penetrated the human shields. Why aren't you firing back? Asked Admiral June, watching in amazement. Because this isn't what we came for, Hana replied simply. Our mission is peaceful contact, not conquest. After several minutes of one-sided combat, the Variox vessels suddenly lost power. Their weapons fell silent, their engines died, and they drifted helplessly in space. The same electromagnetic pulse we used before, Hana explained. But on a larger scale, their life support systems remain functional, but they can no longer pose a threat. In the stunned silence that followed, Commander Tech finally understood. Now I see why Earth sent just one ship. Captain Hana nodded. Prometheus carries within it everything humanity might need, including the means to defend ourselves. We hoped for friendship but prepared for hostility. This is the lesson of our history. And what happens now? Asked Tak. Now we continue as planned, Hana said. We offer assistance to the disabled Variox ships. We resume diplomatic talks, and perhaps we all understand each other a little better. As the human vessels began to move toward the stranded Variox ships, offering help rather than destruction, many in the chamber recognized that humanity had demonstrated not just its power, but its character. The grand chamber of the Confederation Council gleamed with polished stone and ancient symbols. Representatives from all 17 species sat in their designated positions, watching as Captain Hana placed her hand on the glowing treaty orb. The sphere pulsed with light, recognizing her DNA pattern and recording her commitment to the Alliance. With this gesture, we welcome humanity as the 18th member of the Galactic Confederation, announced Elder Jun, the oldest council member. His thin frame seemed almost translucent in the ceremonial light, the wisdom of 3 centuries etched into his features. The signing ceremony was remarkably subdued considering the events of the past 2 weeks. The failed Variox attack had changed everything. Their fleet had been returned to them, fully functional but with a clear message. Humanity could have destroyed them, but chose not to. After the formal proceedings concluded, Delegates mingled in small groups, sampling foods and drinks from various worlds. Captain Hannah stood near a large viewport, gazing out at the stars. Through the window, the massive form of Prometheus floated in the distance, its hull now sealed to conceal the remarkable secrets within. Elder Jun approached her slowly, leaning on his ceremonial staff. "The view is quite impressive, isn't it, Captain?" Hannah nodded respectfully. "It reminds me of why we left Earth in the first place, to see what lies beyond our own small corner of the galaxy." Jun studied her face for a moment before speaking again. "One question still troubles me," he said quietly. "Why send a vessel carrying the seeds of an entire fleet? Did you expect treachery from us?" Hannah's expression grew solemn. "Elder Jun, humanity's history is written in conflict and survival. We hoped for peace but prepared for war, as we always have." "A costly approach," observed June. "Less costly than being unprepared," Hannah replied. "When we decided to join the galactic community, we knew we would be facing species with thousands of years more experience than ours. We couldn't afford to be naive." Commander Tak joined their conversation, his four eyes blinking in sequence as he offered a ceremonial drink to each of them. "The Variox delegation has officially apologized for their actions," he informed them. "Their representative has been recalled for re-education. No permanent harm was done," Hannah said, accepting the drink. "That's what matters." "And what of your fleet?" asked Tak. "Will it remain deployed?" "No," Hannah replied. "The vessels are returning to Prometheus. They're designed to dock within the carrier sections when not needed." "Remarkable engineering," Jun commented. "Our scientists are still struggling to understand how you fit so much into one ship." "We would be happy to share some of our design principles," Hannah offered. "Not everything, of course, but enough to demonstrate our good faith." Jun nodded appreciatively. "Knowledge exchange is the foundation of our alliance." "And what now for humanity?" asked Tak. "Will you send more ships?" "Establish colonies, one step at a time," Hannah replied. "Prometheus will remain here as our embassy. When we're confident in our relationship with the Confederation, we'll consider expanding our presence." A soft chime sounded, and the lights in the chamber shifted to indicate the ceremony was concluding. Delegates began moving toward the exit. "Captain Hannah," Jun said, his voice suddenly serious, "you should know that not everyone in the Confederation is pleased with humanity's admission. Some fear your technology. Others resent your demonstration of power." "We understand," Hannah said. "Trust takes time to build." "Indeed," agreed Tak. "But the Council majority recognizes the value of your perspective. Your species has achieved in centuries what took others millennia." As they walked together toward the exit, Jun paused once more to look out at the stars, and at Prometheus floating majestically against the black. "You sent one ship," he said thoughtfully, "but in that one ship, you sent everything." "Not everything," Hannah corrected gently. "Just enough to ensure we would be heard." "And now everyone is listening," Tak observed. The three of them stood silently for a moment, contemplating the new balance of power that had formed. The Confederation had gained a valuable ally, but also a reminder that the galaxy still held surprises. Humanity had gained acceptance, but also the responsibility that came with their demonstrated capabilities. "To new beginnings," Hannah said, raising her glass in the human tradition. Jun and Tak mimicked the gesture, their different anatomies adapting to the human custom. "To understanding," added Jun. "And to peace," said Tak, "maintained through wisdom rather than fear." As they completed the toast, a subtle change came over the viewport. The Prometheus had activated its engines, adjusting its position to better reflect the light of the system's sun. For a brief moment, the enormous vessel gleamed like a beacon against the darkness of space, a silent reminder of humanity's approach to the universe. Hope for the best, but always, always be prepared.